Good morning.
Good morning.
We are extremely pleased that you are here. It is good to come together for the purpose of co-creating. Do you agree?
Yes.
You are knowing what you are wanting. It moves about a bit, yes. You are appreciating the contrast that surrounds you, that helps you to decide what you want.
Yes.
So knowing what you want does feel empowering to you, yes? It is a focusing mechanism, isn't it? Knowing what you don't want, which helps you to know what you do want. So you are glad that you know what you do want, yes? So knowing what you don't want is part of knowing what you do want, yes? So contrast is a good thing. It helps you to focus. Can you feel we're drawing you into a trap? So by knowing what you don't want and therefore knowing what you do want, the contrast is serving you enormously well. Would you agree to that? In other words, you cannot know what you do not want without a large part of the vibrational essence of you focusing upon what you do want. Now, as we talk about knowing what you don't want helps you to know what you do want, that sort of makes sense. In other words, that choosing, that variety, that helping you to focus. But there's a much bigger reason that we are sort of stalling here while your energy catches up with ours on this subject, because we want you to realize that it's much more than you in your physical form just knowing what you don't want, so knowing what you do want. It's that whenever you live any life experience which causes you to focus upon what you don't want, there is an automatic emanating of clarity about what is wanted that often is lost on you because you're so aware of what you don't want. Often when we say, are you appreciating the contrast of your time and place? Most physical friends, if they haven't seen us coming, say, no, we don't like the contrast. We like the part that we like. That would be like saying, when you go to the buffet, do you like all of those things at the buffet that you do not eat? And most people would say, no, I could just as well do without them. They could save a lot of trouble and not prepare any of that stuff that I do not eat. And we want you to realize that even though from your physical perspective, you may know so clearly what you do not want, that knowing what you do want is not particularly active in your vibration for a while, there's a larger part of you that moves immediately to that vibration of what you do want, often even sometimes before you have even recognized that that side of the equation exists. All of your power is right here and now. What we mean by that is you've got the power right here and now to let go of the oars and allow the stream to take you toward what you want, or you have the power right here and now to resist that process, but that's it. Those are the choices. You can relax and benefit, or you can struggle and deprive. You can relax and allow, or you can struggle and resist. Now, many times people say, Abraham, this feels a little screwy to me, because I seem to recall you talking about me being the creator of my own reality. So if I'm just letting go, who's creating my reality? Is the stream creating my reality? Is law of attraction? Is God? Who's creating my own reality? And we say, you are. You did it as you explored contrast. You know what you don't want. You knew what you did want. And you have been offering these requests, these statements of intention, these requests for solutions to problems and answers to questions. And the source within you has been finding them and being them and is now calling you toward them. And so what we're encouraging you to understand is that letting go of the struggle is equivalent to step 3 of the creative process. Step 1 says, ask. You don't have to work very hard to ask. Life causes you to ask all day, every day. The contrast evokes that from you. Step 2 is, Source will answer your requests. That's what we were talking about. Source rides the rocket and holds the vision of what you want and who you've become so completely and so singularly that there is not any confusion in the vibration. And when law of attraction responds to that powerful, pure vibration, there is a fast-moving stream. Step 3 is you got to go with the flow if you are to keep up with you. So there is no order of business here. Whatever you want to talk about is just fine. You will discover that we will choose you in a slight order, in the sense that sometimes something that comes before what you want to talk about is slightly better if you hear it before you get to the chair. Sometimes we'll not call you forward at all. In fact, the majority of those of you who will raise your hand today will not be called to the chair. But 100% of you will be answered completely. In the same way that we were describing to you that the contrast has caused you to send rockets of desire forward, this gathering has happened before you dragged your physical bodies here. In other words, you've been asking, and the source within you is standing with the answers to everything that you want to know. The question that we want you to hold in your mind is, am I today, sitting here, in the state of allowing? In other words, when you have something that you want to talk about, and you are in the vibrational vicinity of it, you light up in a very strong way, and we cannot help but see you and ask you forward. If you have a very powerful question, and you are really unhappy about not knowing the answer, so that you've been beating the drum over here where your answer to your question is over here, you don't light up and we don't see you. And the day will just be one of frustration for you if you keep beating the drum of, I'm not getting called on, 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 I'm not getting called on. That person's question is stupid, that person's question is stupid, that person's question is stupid. We want you to understand that everything that we're offering here is laying the basis for that which you are wanting to understand. And as you relax and appreciate those who are willing to expose themselves in rather dramatic ways, we're going to have a wonderful downstream turning experience today. This is the art of allowing at its best, and it is co-creating at its best. So enjoy it. We are planning to have a wonderful day here. So, some things.
You know, I just found out about this last night, and I just came and got in, and I'm just so thrilled to be here. Thank you. I've moved a lot this morning just listening to what you have to say, and where I am is that for the last 5 years I've been creating this product that is like a paradigm shift in an industry. And along the way, I've created a lot of resistance from the industry.
Well, we imagine so. Paradigm shifts are that way, aren't they? Think about what you're saying. You're saying, I've got an idea, and I think everybody who was never heard or embraced this idea before should now embrace it. And we say, what are the odds of that in terms of law of attraction? I have a new idea, nobody's ever heard of it, I want them to all hear of it all at once, and I want them to all like it. Is that what you meant?
Yes. Well, they did all like it, but nobody believed that I could really affect the industry. And also, they liked it so much that they all did it themselves and in their own way. And so now I'm at the place where I've finally gotten through my money allowance. And so I'm at this place right now where I'm ready to launch my product. And the whole industry is all doing their own thing. And so it's like I know there's some place for me to step into.
But you see, listen to the story that you're telling. You have to tell a different story, because the universe will back you up on the story you're telling. Isn't that nice to know? If you can hear us when we say, this thing that you want, you have created, and it is alive and well and in your vibrational escrow, and when you line up with it, it has to be exactly as you see it, and nobody else has anything to say about it. You made it sound like you have to factor in what all of the other ones are doing, and when you do, it scrambles your energy. When you pay no attention to what they're doing, even if they stole your ideas, even if they're doing a job of implementing your ideas, you have to understand that what they're doing, even if it's with your life's work, is none of your business.
Okay.
And when you,
but they have all this big money. They're huge, like $1 billion. It's like, okay. So.
But you see what happens is when you make what they're doing your business and you can't control them. When you make what they're doing your business, you lose your alignment with what you've got going. And you know what Jerry said about The Secret, which was essentially the same sort of thing? She came to them, said, I want to build a movie around your work, and then somewhere in the process said, I've decided that this isn't your work, I've decided it's my work, and I've decided that I should write you out of it. I'll either write you out of it, or you have to also say that it's not your work, that it's my work. Those are your options. Turn over the rights, the intellectual property rights to this venture, or I will have to edit you out. And Jerry and Esther said, that's really easy. Edit us out. And so they were edited out. And then millions of people are hearing about the sort of edited out version of it. And it was a little hard for Esther to take for a while. Because,
yeah, I get
because
it.
she knew the secret behind the secret. In other words, she knew what was really going on. But then Jerry, who was he's always steps back further, and he is always leaning downstream. He's given up his battles years ago. Jerry said to Esther, look at it this way. The secret is like a giant icebreaker that is out there just breaking the ice and helping millions of people who could not hear this otherwise. And some of them are ready for this leading edge material, and most of them are not. And isn't it wonderful that they've been reached in the way that they have now been reached, and those who want more now have readier access than ever, you see. Well, if that wasn't a downstream gap closing idea, you see. You said something sort of like that.
Well, you know, it's interesting that you're saying that, because my biggest issue has been educating women to the system. And what they're actually doing is educating, spending millions of dollars educating women that they have shapes. And I'm trying to standardize fit in the apparel industry. And the industry's done it a different way for a long time. I see what you're saying, though, because The Secret really opened you up. Now people are readily accepting
here's the thing that
Abraham.
Here's the thing that we want to say about The Secret. The Secret was in Esther's vibrational escrow. In other words, it was part of where she was going. What Esther and Jerry have wanted from the beginning was for more people to discover their own power. And Esther does not really care whose words are the trigger. In other words, we've all said to each other right from the beginning, if you don't care who gets the credit, you can do a lot of good in this world, you see. But now let's point back to the selfish question that you were asking, because... Oh, and we mean that in the most positive way, because you cannot see other than through the eyes of self. You see, you did start a movement, as Jerry and Esther have started a movement. You know what got Esther down more than anything about The Secret? There were people that she knew intimately who now don't know that Jerry and Esther exist, who suddenly have gotten all of their material from some other place. They just sort of vibed it out of the ethers. It didn't have anything to do with the process that Jerry and Esther were about. And what hurt Esther's feelings is that they did not stay true to something that they knew. And this is the thing that we've been working to help Esther to understand. Don't ask anyone, even your best friend. This is for our 6th grader too. Don't ask anyone, even your best friend, to be true to you. You be true to you. Because everybody on the planet is oriented to be true to them. When you ask somebody to be true to you, you ask them to separate themselves to some degree from who they are. And when you get into harmony with that, the things that you can create. Let others do whatever it is they're doing. You be true to you.
Thank you so much.
Some very nice person gave Jerry and Esther a placard that they can lay in their dashboard, and when they do, it shines up on the window and they can see it on the window. When you look at it, it doesn't make any sense. It's all backwards, but when you read it from the reflection, it says, things always work out for me. And when you know that, then you can leave everybody else and what they're doing out of your equation. Things always work out for you.